This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Today I'm going to be showing you how to bind things and get everything, where all the equipment that you're going to need so you can do these print and play games. Now, I originally shot this and I thought I did a great job, but unfortunately there was no sound with this. So I still had the video, so what I had to do is, what I'm doing right now, is shooting the opening, but I'm going to try to talk over the video that has already been put there. So if it seems a little out of sync, just bear with me. The main thing is that we get the point across without having to reshoot the whole thing all over again. So why don't we go down to the table? I'm going to show you all the stuff that you're going to need. The thing about this is, and I really want to hit home, is these are fantastic games and you want to preserve them. And you know, some people you could just use the computer and look at the screen. I just think that if you bind them and you have it in front of you, it's a nicer deal, and it's just more attractive. And it makes it easier to access certain things. So let's go down to the table. We're going to start with a whole bunch of things. We're going to cover laminating, pencils, all that kind of stuff that I use here at the tabletop. So let's go check it out. So right here I have a binder, and this binder my wife picked up over at Amazon. What you're going to do is you're going to be punching holes in your paper so you can bind everything together. On the top there is you are going to find where I'm putting my thumb there. That is where you're going to put the clasps that are going to bind everything together. Works very, very well. I think it only cost me about 38 bucks or something like that. My wife found it on Amazon, and that is where I punch all the holes. Right there I have the PVC for the covers, and then I believe I'm going to show the backing. Yeah, see, you're just going to put those right in there, okay, because that's going to be your cover. That's going to protect the front side, and all you do is clunk, and there you go. You pull that out and you're good to go. There's the backing. You're going to have you could buy those. I think I only paid $9 for those backings. And you're just putting those holes in. That's all you're doing. And yeah, it's a little tedious. You could do about 12 pages at a time, or you could buy a more expensive one. As you see, I screwed that one up. Make sure it's all the way in. There you go. And then you're going to get it. I got like 500 sheets for like $9 or $10, which was very easy. That was another Amazon thing. Then we bought like 50 of these binders. Okay. And all that happens with those is I'm going to separate those out, as you're going to see, and yeah, throw one in, move the box out of the way, and yeah, that's going to go right in those grooves, and then you're going to push that lever forward, see, by just taking those so they disconnect a bit. All right, and then you make sure that it locks in, and then it pulls it back, and then you're going to put your paper sheets right in there. Now, of course, I think I goofed this up because it's in front of the camera and I'm off to the side. But if you're in front of it, it just goes in really easy, believe it or not. And you're just going to, yeah, come on, Rob, you can do it. Yeah, it's amazing when you have to do this after you lost the sound of this actually, and then go back and try to retrace your work. And here we go. Yeah, good job. Right, and then you'll put your sheets in there, and then it just closes everything up and binds everything in, as you'll see right there. Piece of cake, right, folks? And then it has little locks in there that you're going to take those little pieces and you're going to lock them on the back side. You would put that right over the top of your whatever you had printed out, and boom, you have yourself a booklet, and you are off and running. Again, like I said, this was very affordable. All this stuff together was under 50 bucks, which is not even as much as one game nowadays. And I was able to, to bind a whole bunch of different books, you know, and then, you know, like I said, I'm going to talk at the end of this video about where you can print, where I suggest, you know, you can either go to Office Depot and print things out, or you can just print it at home. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is lamination. At least I think we're going to be talking about that, and yes, I am. I actually got this at Target. It was $19. This nice little laminator. It does exactly everything I need. 8.5 by 11, and this is where I'm going to laminate my game sheet, so I'm not wasting paper. Okay. The laminates you can also find. My wife found those on Amazon. She shops for a bargain. It's on, and the laminates I think we got like 100 for $9, which is perfect because you really want to be able to laminate your stuff, and be able to draw on top of it and do all kinds of different things, especially if you have dry erase markers. The other thing here is grid paper, which is very important, especially for our dungeon crawls and stuff like that. I got this at Hobby Lobby. As you can see, forgive the brightness. This here is it's just grid paper, and we did a note quest on it just the other week, and you know, it comes with tons of big sheets, and I like doing it big, you know, depending, you know, you can make the dungeon as big as you want, you know, especially with my bad eyes, you want to be able to see everything for sure. And so you make it as big as you possibly can. Boy, I got to adjust this camera at some point, don't I? Right? But, you know, this is great. It's huge. You can get smaller versions of this. I also ran out and bought myself a couple of rulers for 99 cents. I went out and got, you know, especially when you're drawing dungeons or things or keys to a dungeon. And the different pencils I got different types of graphic pencils that, and of course you can't see it because it's just too bright because of the light. But see, that one you were able to see a little bit. But a different graphic pencils for darker and lighter. I also got color pencils, permanent markers I like to use from time to time, especially on the paper here. But sometimes you got to be careful with the permanent markers because it will leak through your paper, and you don't want that to happen. The color pencils I like to use, as you can see in the bottom there, to mark off doors. There's my pecan pie box that my son gave me, and I have all kinds of different colored pencils. Of course, my 2D6 game cards that I use. But using different color pencils, it's up to you. You know, maybe you know, you want doors to be brown, you know, slime pits to be green. Always make sure that you keep your dice in the box. I've got tons of different pencils. I also have erasers. Like I said, the different types of graphic pencils that you want to get. And all this I got this at Hobby Lobby really cheap. I got like this big gift pack thing, which was only like 19 bucks. And it actually was on sale. It was 40% off. They have sales from time to time. Toby wrote us a nice little letter from DR Games, co.uk. Make sure that you go over there and get your 2D6 dungeon. I've got different kinds of pencils, everything that I would possibly need to really make this very unique and different. And that's where you know, it really hits home for me, is making sure that I have everything, and you know, I can make it as colorful as I want, or just make it a black and white dungeon. It depends what I want to do and how, you know, I want it to affect me, how deep I want to go in and you know, truss this up, you know, because it becomes a work of art as you roll these dungeons up in some of these fantastic games. And just really taking the time to do it, it really builds on the theme. So making sure that you have good materials, to use is always important. And like I said, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, places like that are absolutely fantastic. See, there we go, our grid paper. You get 50 sheets in that one. They have some smaller ones that I think you get more, but it's fairly inexpensive. I think it was like 10 bucks. And then paper in general, you know, we're going to talk about laser printers at the end of this. And I want to make sure that you know that when you get a laser printer, that get paper, get yourself a couple of reams of paper. What I did is I went and I bought a case of paper. Okay, fairly inexpensive. You don't need expensive paper. There's some cases that are up to $34. I went and got one for $14, and it was over like 4,000 or 5,000 sheets in the thing. I forgot how much is in there. I still haven't gone through it. And you just print out. Again, duplexing is a big thing. We'll talk about that on the other side of this video. I'll adjust that, but you know, just having all these things together just makes such a difference, and it really adds to the theme of the game. It helps you bring out the game, and you get to do what the author intended. Well, there you have it. You know, again, forgive how I had to splice everything together a bit, but the most important thing is that we get the information to you. A lot of this stuff is really cheap. The thing that I really want to hit home here, we all like big box games, and if we just took our budget for one big box game, put it aside, and got all our materials that we would need, you know, from laser printers all the way through, I think that you would find that this would be a lot easier for you guys, and you'd be able to purchase more of these games and have more games at a cheaper cost. The initial inception is a little tough, and that's for sure. So definitely a home run here. Now, one final thing I want to cover here, and people have asked about it, is laser printers. Okay, laser printers or inkjet printers. You want to get yourself a laser printer. Some of the HPs or Canons you can find online at Amazon or at Target or Walmart. You can get into a laser printer for about 138 bucks. The reason you want laser is, number one, ink is really expensive, okay, and it's not guaranteed, and you don't get a lot of sheets out of an ink cartridge. You get a little ink cartridge. If you want to do color, it's a complete waste, and time. It takes a lot longer. With laser printers, you are going to be able to kick out a bunch of paper in a short amount of time. You know, within a minute, you can to 2 minutes, you can probably almost print out, you know, depending on the processing, of course, you can print out a booklet, and make sure you have a duplexer on it too. Even though laser is a little bit more expensive for the ink, you get so much more in volume of printing. You know, you can get anywhere from 10, depending on the cartridge, 10 to maybe 20,000 sheets. That is really important. Because then now you're printing these things at a minimal cost. Making sure you have a duplexer, and most of all, the initial investment will help you. You might want to get it all-in-one, so you have something that you can make copies of sheets for your laminators, like I do. And once you make that investment, but an inkjet is not cost-effective for doing what we're doing here. And I really highly suggest a laser printer. And again, you can get them, you know, go on Craigslist, go on whatever you have to do, you know, and try to find maybe a used one and get it real cheap. And just get yourself a bunch of cartridges, and you're off and running and printing away. So that's my thoughts on that. That's the initial thing that you want to get, so you can print these booklets out, or maybe you have a place that you can print them out, which is even more cost effective. You know, maybe your job will let you, you know, print a couple booklets out here and there during lunch or whatever. Never do it during work. You don't want to lose your job. but doing that will help you get to the end game, to where we showed you, where you start binding and laminating and you know, all this wonderful stuff. Because once you have those booklets, like I said, you know, I print everything out in color, or maybe you can deal with it in black and white, but I like color because that was the way it was intended to be done. You know, especially when you have a color, you know, something like this that says Blood Castle on it, you want to make sure that you have it to the utmost that you can. I mean, other than that, you know, there's a 9 to 10 different ways, Macari, all this different stuff that you can find things. Amazon, my wife is always looking for stuff, and like I said, most of this stuff she found on Amazon, and we got very, very cheap. So there you go. Laser printing, binding, paper that we use, all laminators, all these things to make these fantastic booklets, and it'll pay off in the end, especially when a lot of these games are just relying on donations. So, you know, what we try to do is support them by, you know, making sure that you know, we give a good donation, but I have all the materials to make all this stuff and bring it to you. We're going to be looking at a lot of stuff over the next couple months, so I hope you'll stick with us and enjoy it. And now you can do this yourself and follow along. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. See you soon, everybody.